Take away this tasteless haze and nothing overtakes me. And I think I'm going crazy.
I'm here with singer-songwriter, video blogger, video director, and self-professed mind geek.
Ah, yes.
Tessa Violet. Great to be here with you. I want to go right to the beginning and ask you, I always like to find out, what was it for you, whether it was a song that you heard, someone in your life, or an experience that you had that kicked open the door to your mind and made you want to pursue music? Do you remember like a moment or a few moments?
So I was living in Cambridge, Ontario at the time, and I felt like I wanted to work in film. I specifically liked cinematography. I was sort of interested in music videos, but I felt really stuck creatively and just kind of directionless. And my friend had left his guitar in my car and then moved away. And I was like, hey, like, give me your address. Like, I'd love to send this guitar back to you. And he never did. I just felt it was such a shame that no one was playing it because it's a beautiful instrument and I loved music.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I could learn how to play guitar. You never know till you try. And I started playing guitar that spring. And then I was like, okay, well, a month ago, I'd never played guitar. Maybe I could try writing a song. I've never done that before. And I started writing, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love this. But it was probably another year before I, maybe even longer, came to being bold enough to say that this is what I want to do with my life now, because it's very vulnerable.
You seem a little bit like a restless spirit, you know, someone that's not content to stay in the same place for too long. You've moved around a lot. You've lived in Korea and Thailand and New York City and Canada and Oregon. You grew up in Ashland. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
And the executive producer of the show was talking about how that's the home of Shakespeare Festival, right? The
Yes.
Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And it's really rich in arts and culture.
Yes.
And population that I understand is less than 30,000 people. So that's like amazing that the arts are so huge there, and it's such a passion for those people. Did that have an effect on you with all the things that you've done creatively?
I think so. I mean, I don't know if it was a cause and effect, but I definitely feel really fortunate to have grown up in a town that was so arts focused. You know, at our high school, the theater program was heavily influenced by the Shakespeare Festival, and we had a lot of funding from parents, and it's definitely a huge blessing to grow up there. And my choir director too had a huge influence on me, Russell Oddie.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I come from a small town as well, and so it's just amazing when there's a flair or a passion for the arts.
Yeah, it's awesome.
2014, you released your first album, Maybe Trapped, Mostly Troubled. 2016, you appeared in The Matchbreaker, independent film. You also wrote Cash Cash Money for that as well. 2016, Halloway, which is a great EP, and I love Not Over You.
Oh, thank
It's a great rocker. It's a little bit different than your newest album. What inspired you with that batch of songs that you're putting together?
My first album came out in 2014, and the EP was the follow-up to that. And in between the release of the first album and the EP, I'd had more experience touring and mostly just playing house shows.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was learning what made a song work live and not. And I really wanted to write songs that were gonna, like with Not Over You specifically, I wanted to have a song that felt like,
an anthem a little bit.
yes, exactly. So yeah, there is some element of how do I like hone the songwriting craft for a live set. And then also like, you know, write about some experiences like Haze and On My Own. I always tend to have a theme of anxiety running through my songwriting.
Yeah.
But why do the work when I'm doing just fine? Oh, oh, my and I don't mind being alone.
Which works well because there's many people that feel that anxiety. That's what I love about your music is it feels like it pulls from the universal feelings that we all feel, and that's what music does is it gets us by and it helps us through those moments. But
definitely.
You made a comment recently, maybe about a year ago or whatever, that last year, which I assume was 2017, was especially tough. You wanted to take a break from the internet. You want to take a break from some of the things and really write this new album. I'm always interested to find out what motivates and inspires artists to to craft that? It's your life. You know?
Yeah. I went through a breakup at the top of 2017, which was like a relationship I'd been in for a long time. And I remember like almost immediately coming out of that breakup and talking to my therapist and saying, I know this is something that someone in denial would say, but I really feel like I'm okay. I had like 1 month of being okay and then definitely fell off the deep end. And I didn't go into the year planning to take time off to do the album. It was just became very clear that there was no, I don't know, I just felt so entrenched in sadness and in learning, and I felt I had no perspective to share anything online besides putting them back into the songs. And early that year, I did co-write with Lauren and Solomon Olds, who I wrote Crush with. And on one of those days, they said like, what do you want to write about? And I was like, I don't know, maybe it's like, it's just, I don't really know. I don't know, I just had some idea for some dumb thing, and they're like, no bullshit songs, Tessa. I hope I'm allowed to swear on this, sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think no bullshit songs kind of became my mantra. And just in life, speak your truth, trust your gut.
When you listen to the album, definitely feels like something compelled you, like something in your soul had to come out with that record.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the first single, Crush. I like the lyric, I got a fascination with your presentation, make me feel like you're on my island, you're my permanent vacation. Tell me about that song, recording it, what inspired it.
Yeah, so during that year, I had a long stint of Bumble and just going on dates with people and the sense of like, yeah, this is great, I'm my own woman. And I met someone that I felt like I kind of had a connection with, but like at the same time could recognize like, we're not really a match. Like we're both just kind of like wandering and looking for something, but I have such a tendency to, like a taste is never enough for me. I tend to get really wrapped up in things, often to my own detriment. And with Crush, I'd been sitting at my piano for like 2 hours. And I was supposed to be writing. At that time, I was trying to write every day from like 10 to 3. And I was like, man, I cannot focus on what needs to get done. I'm just scrolling through this guy's Instagram like a maniac. And I was like, that's a good jumping off point. I can't focus on what needs to get done. Let's see where we go from here. And I think sometimes people hear that song and they're like, this song's so cute. And I'm like, listen harder.
Yeah.
And it is cute, and there's nothing wrong with having a crush, but yeah, I felt that was the beginning of the story. This sense of starting with this projection outwards of like, this is so fun, and slowly turning inwards to like, what's really happening on the inside, which you don't hear in that song, but that's the beginning of the story.
Yeah. When you write, is it the type of thing where you say, okay, I'm gonna sit down and write a song a day, or these are my few hours to do it, or how often does it just come organically or come to you as an inspiration? Some people say they go to sleep at night, they dream their song, they wake up, they write it. Some people set a set amount of time to do it. That, you know, Stevie Wonder talks about writing, he wrote a song every day of his life. Wow. You know, that type of thing. How does it work for you?
I try to write with structure. When I'm in a phase of, I go through cycles, so I'm not a writer that's someone who's like, you should be writing all the time. That's right for some people. I don't think that's right for me.
Sure.
I like to, and maybe because I write so personally about my own stories, I like to experience life and experience the arc of a romance or whatever, and then be able to come to it and look at it like with some perspective and be like, what do I have to say about this? But when I'm in a phase of writing, I do try and write. I'm like 10 to 3, I'm at my piano writing some songs. But then if I want to write in the evening, I also will, and often the songs that make it to the album come in the evening.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
So Bad Ideas, that is a song that, like a lot of your songs on the new record, Bad Ideas, sonically and lyrically, there's a lot going on with that song.
Yikes. Bad ideas, eh? I know where to lead, but I got too many to sleep and I can't get it.
What came first? Like the lyrics, writing it down, or the music?
It comes together for me.
Okay.
I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd say lyrics, but I'm not someone who like writes down poetry and then I'm like, what's the music? It's more, almost all my songs, I start with the opening line. So with Crush, I started with, I can't focus on what needs to get done. And with Bad Ideas, I was like, I hope that you don't think I'm rude. I want to make out with you. And that was like paraphrasing something I'd said to this guy. Just like, hey, like, I want to be bold about this. I want to make out. I hope that's cool. But like, also it's okay if it's a no. Like, I respect that too. And when I wrote that song that night, I wanted to keep flirting with him. So I'm like, how can I flirt with this guy? I know, I'll write a song about him. And yeah, that one was a real just kind of stream of consciousness. And even as I was writing it, like I started feeling like, this is so cool, I feel so good, I love the way the pitter-patter of these lyrics go. And as I'm writing, like going back and forth from my piano to my bed, to like be on my laptop, piano, bed, I was like, is this sad? Because I was aware that like this is felt only on one side, really. And also the sense of how typical of me. I know that I can be so all or nothing. And I mean, I don't know. Again, like also, I don't want to be that hard on myself. Like looking back a year and a half ago, I'm like, yeah, you're going through some things. Like you had a fling with a guy, whatever. This is not a big deal. But in the moment, this sense of like reckless abandon and sadness in that like, not even in romance, but in everything in my life, like I can see that the choices I make lead to these like devastating consequences, but not only do I feel I can't help myself, but I don't want to.
What I like about your music, especially in the new album, is that there's a boldness there, as we talk about. You have the courage to put yourself out there. And then there's the lyric, I don't know what compels me to do the very thing that fells me. I wake up still high on you. And I love that lyric because we've all experienced that where we go to sleep and we're kind of obsessing on a person and then we wake up and it's there and it won't go away. We can't sleep, we can't eat. And you put it so rather eloquently in the way that you said it there.
Thank you.
With that courage. So tell me about that process.
I guess my favorite songwriters really lay it out there.
Yeah.
And I really like in a style of music when things feel very conversational. I love that. I love when I hear someone say in a song something that I felt that didn't have the words for. Mm-hmm. I'm like, ooh, yes. Like, I'd say the band Fun is probably one of my biggest influences when it comes to writing.
Yeah, tell me about some of your influences as we're thinking about that.
Yeah. I'm like, what are the big three? I mean, Fun always is coming back to me. Man, I love that band, it's so good. And I love Bleachers now, which is Jack Antonoff. I love everything Jack Antonoff does. I love Taylor Swift, I always have. I think she's a genius songwriter. I think part of why we listen to sad music specifically, not a club anthem, is that we're looking to understand our own sadness. And when you understand it, it feels less all-encompassing. So to give words to something that is too big is a beautiful thing. And I like when artists do that for me. And I try to do that in my art for myself.
How to feel less alone in this world, because it seems like even though we seem to be more connected in the 21st century and where we're at right now with our phones and social media, it actually creates a lot of loneliness.
It's a lot of isolation.
There's a lot of isolation there. And so music is the thing that opens the door and allows us to realize that there are other people feeling what we're feeling. And that's why it's such a universal language. And that's why your album works so well. And the things that you're saying is because there are people out there, men, women, boys, girls, whatever, that feel this. And they're like, nobody knows how I'm feeling. And then they hear this music and it's like you said, aha.
Yeah, oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah.
It feels good to be understood, to be seen.
Absolutely. Last question for you. Looking back so far, because you've got a career that's going like this and you've got so much ahead of you, but so far in your personal life and your career, what are you most grateful for in this moment?
Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for so many things. I'm so grateful to be on this tour. I'm out with Coin right now. That has been an incredible blessing. They're so great. The crowd is so great.
Yeah.
And it's a real, I don't know, I love to play shows. I love to be on the road. So to get to be on tour is just, I feel my heart is so full. And my team that's out on tour with me right now, Nick, Jess, and Aaron, perfect. I love them. And it's so great to be with a group of people where, I mean, it's a slog. Like, we are tired. This is a 27-day run, and if a drive day is a day on, which I don't think of a drive day as a day off, we have no days off on this tour. So we are tired. But that said, it's so wonderful to come together as a group to make beautiful art and to make something that impacts people.
And share it.
Yeah, and share it. I feel really grateful to have written this album. I really like it, so I feel like it's so natural to want to share something with people that you love yourself. Grateful for my management team. Shout out Tag. That's new to me. I got management for the first time this year. Grateful for my boyfriend. Shout out Jared. Yeah, I don't know. Everything feels so good right now. I'm sorry if that list was much longer.
That's awesome. To have a lot of gratitude, I think that's a healthy thing. It's a good thing in life.